All right. Should be live. We'll let people start rolling in here. Had to bring DK on for this big monumental slate. How you been, man?
Doing pretty good, yeah. So you've been grinding away the WNBA streets. They've been treating me pretty well too. And yeah, I mean, we got huge contests today. So 50K up top in the 3-3-3 and 25K in the big tournament. So definitely some money to be made, and yeah, excited to talk some DFS.
Yeah, for sure. I know every time I see you posting on Twitter, it's always popping that big 3-3-3. Now tonight is the night you really want to pop it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, 50. I wouldn't be upset about that.
Yeah, 50K wouldn't be too upset. Yeah. All right, so huge slate, guys. We're gonna burn through these games real quick, and then we'll answer some questions. But we'll start with this. Like, I'll get DK's thoughts on like these first games. Like for me, like this Connecticut Indiana game, I don't like outside of Caitlin Clark. Like you can take some shots in tournaments, but I don't like really anything out of this game. What about you?
Yeah, so not a ton. Obviously, there's the giant spread there for Connecticut and Indiana, but it was at least a little bit encouraging that the rotation that the Sun ran last game. Like they ran a 8-man rotation, so. Not saying they're going to do that again, but if they do and the game stays competitive, like, yeah, the ceiling's massive on, Mabry. Like a Marina Mabry, I think would be the one consideration for me. I think Tina Charles is a little bit too pricey and forward, too high of opportunity cost. But yeah, I think Mabry's like playable in tournaments, but I just don't really trust the value for the Sun. Even if they run like a relatively condensed rotation, I still think there's better value elsewhere.
Yeah, just on such a big slate when there's like clear value that we'll talk about later. Like it's really hard for me to like prioritize playing like a Bree Hartley, even if she starts. Even like Olivia Nelson-Ododa, like good player, but at 6,100, don't really have to go there. I agree though. Like if this game's competitive, it's probably because Marina Mabry is the one keeping it competitive. But I'm right there with you. I do think Boston is a fine tournament option just because like she showed a little bit of life last game against New York, 30 minutes. Obviously minutes haven't been great. I mean, early in the season, 37 here against Atlanta. Always worry about foul trouble with her. That's the only bad thing, but she can get there. 37 last game in 30 minutes. I think she'd be the only other option here in this game.
Yeah. I wanted to bring up Boston. I like that you brought up Boston just because I think her ceiling is definitely a lot higher with Caitlin Clark in, as weird as that sounds, just because of the pick and roll, right? Yep. So like I think if you're making a lot of lineups, like if you want to run like a mini stack here with like Clark and Boston and run it back with Mabry, like I think it's okay for like a large field tournament. But yeah, overall, I think it's a game I'm definitely going to be pretty light on. Clark is projected to be relatively popular, but outside of that, there's not a ton of ownership going in this game.
Yeah, it's pretty much Caitlin Clark and then everyone else probably sub 10% on a big slate like this. Now, this game is one that I do have some interest in because a lot of people don't understand. And it keeps like, if you look at different places, like it's different everywhere. Mm-hmm. So Atlanta wins, they are in the Commissioner Cup Championship. New York has to win and have Indiana lose. So means a lot more for Atlanta, but New York can play spoilers. They're playing at home. But I'm expecting like a playoff like rotation here. Obviously, Atlanta, like if you look, people might be off Atlanta. Like some of these, Ryan Howard's playing massive minutes, but massive blowout. Last 3 games, huge blowouts. Then the game before, like they lost to the Sun, that's their one loss, which is kind of ridiculous. But I think this game is getting kind of slept on.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that I agree with the playoff rotation for Atlanta. I think that you have like 40 minutes, like all 40 minutes for like Ryan Howard or even Alicia Gray is definitely in the range of outcomes tonight. The bigs, I don't think as much, just because the minutes have been ticking down. But
cratering.
Could you see Brittany Griner, push for close to 30 minutes? I think it's possible. Yeah. So yeah, overall, I think it's an interesting tournament team. Just because right now they're not projecting for a lot of ownership, and again, it's a pretty big game. So I think they are going to run a relatively tight rotation. I think that the downside, the reason they're not getting much ownership is just the price points, right? Like over 11K for Howard, over 10K for Alicia Gray, even though she's been playing really well. Like Bree Jones is still kind of priced as if she was playing the minutes that she was getting earlier this season. Yeah. Overall, I think it's an interesting tournament team. I think you mentioned Jordan Canada too. Yeah. At sub 7K, that's another flyer. I think it's still viable in GPPs.
I think like she's the best point per dollar play on Atlanta in my opinion. Minutes still haven't been great. She's been better the last 2 games, but I think in a competitive game, they mentioned like in her first game that she was full go, and then she shot 0 of 7, didn't really get to play that much. Then, like I said, three blowouts in a row, so hasn't really needed to be extended. I think she could play low 30s minutes, maybe even more. I mean, Smesko's crazy. Ryan Howard's going to die before the season ends. He is Tom Thibodeau reincarnated in the WNBA. But I kind of agree. Like Ryan Howard over 11K, really hard to prioritize. I kind of prefer Alicia Gray for $1,000 discount. Stewie overpriced with Jonquel Jones back. Sabrina, solid tournament option in my opinion, but that's about it. I love Jonquel though.
Yeah, so I do as well. Just over 10K price point for Jonquel. They mentioned, even though she's been out for a few games, no minutes limit. So that's good to see. So like, I think you're probably expecting close to that like 30-minute mark in a competitive game, but could you see, a little bit more from her for sure? I think that it's a little bit tougher to get to Breanna Stewart and Sabrina. And just because their price points are up from when Jonquel was out, right? Now she's back. Like if Jonquel was out, I would be totally fine going to Breanna Stewart and Sabrina again. But I think they're a little bit tougher to get to on this slate. I think Jonquel probably the best point per dollar play overall. And then, I mean, $7,300 for Natasha Cloud, I think makes her playable. She's obviously been really underperforming.
She's been bad.
She's not been great, but I mean, we saw the ceiling that she has earlier this year. So we know it's in the range of outcomes, and she's not projecting for a ton of ownership either. So I think she's another interesting flyer.
I agree. Like, as Natasha Cloud has been terrible, and I was beating the drum early in the season when she was pushing 9K, like she was like the worst play on the slate, and she pretty much nuked off. I can't remember which game it was. And then she really started to crater out. I mean, Washington game was a big blowout, but she's been bad. 7,300 though. I mean, if you're trying to ship 25K, I mean, there's definitely worse plays you can do. Then I don't know if this one will take too long to talk about this game here. What are you thinking on this Washington-Chicago game?
So, yeah, Washington, there's not a ton of interest for me. Brittany Sykes is up there at 10.8K. Obviously, they've had a couple of blowouts. She's still by far leading the team in usage, leading the team potential assists. So, like, I think she's playable just because of the matchup there. The bigs, like the rotation's kind of
gross.
Nail down. It's pretty gross. I think that like in a large field tournament, you can play Shakira Austin. There was a quote that, she's going to see increased minutes. So like what exactly does that entail? Right. So I think she's like playable in GPPs, but I think the two rookies are kind of hard to get to. The minutes have not been great on Dolson. I don't think it's necessary to go there. So I think Sykes would probably be like your best bet to get to. And then I do a little bit interested in Austin for tournaments.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Like it's for Washington, everyone's healthy. Like it's really, really hard to prioritize. Like Kiki's almost 9K playing like high 20s minutes at the most with all the bigs healthy. Like Citron's price has started to come down a little bit. It's a good matchup, but I mean, I don't really want to pay 70. I would rather play Natasha Cloud for a couple $100 less than Sonia Citron. I agree with you on Shakira Austin. God knows when she'll get extended. Eventually, one of these slates, she is going to absolutely just break a slate. I think we'll know because I think they're going to start her. Maybe they don't. Maybe I'm just wrong and then they don't start her and she just nukes off the bench, plays like 25 minutes, but it's tough. And then like Chicago, on the Chicago side, like Reese, okay, spend up. Obviously, potential assists were way up last game. I mean, triple-double. she's running a little bit more of that point forward there because they don't have a true point guard or they're not starting one. And then like Atkins, okay, like she's a good player facing her former team, but she's just been shooting really, really poor. I mean, obviously some bad variance there, but that's really it for me. I think Rebecca Allen is a pretty good tournament option too. She's cheap. People are going to just play Petty and the other cheap options. She shot 2 of 19 in her 3 starts. So, I mean, she's due for some positive shooting regression, but like this is another game. Like I'm probably just going to kind of move on.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of like great point per dollar plays here for Chicago. Like Angel Reese up to 11K, not really the best spot. So I think I'm okay getting away from her after a big game last game. Errol Atkins was a bit disappointing last game, but she's kind of been playing the point guard position last couple games. So that does boost her floor plus ceiling a little bit. It's just like $9,100 price point.
It's steep.
It's the Cardoso, again, the minutes, she just doesn't seem to play mid-20s, right?
Yeah, a ceiling of mid-20s minutes at 8K. I can't get there.
Yeah, I do like the call though on Rebecca Allen as a contrarian play. So she was like massive chalk and high stakes last game, and she shot 0 of 8. I luckily faded, so I wasn't mad about that. But yeah, I think she's an interesting bounce back candidate. Like I think if she's shooting well, she can definitely push for 30 minutes. She played 29 minutes 2 games ago.
Yep.
And even Haley Van Lith, like I think she's playable. She played well last game, definitely her best game so far this season. Closed even. So I think those two as like contrarian values are viable on the slate.
Yep. I can get behind that. That's the big thing with Rebecca Allen is if she's not hitting her shots, she'll get you a couple peripheral stats, but coach will pull her. Like, I mean, the coach is nuts. He's not a good coach, but I mean, it is what it is. Chicago's not a good basketball team either. All right, so this is the game that everyone wants to talk about. This is the game. Both teams are shorthanded. Both teams are lacking multiple players. Where are you at on this game here?
Yeah, well, first we gotta wait for the Tiffany Hayes news. I think that's really important. Do you have any lean on Tiffany Hayes? I was trying to do some digging on Twitter, couldn't find anything definitive, but like I know she had like a similar, like was it a face in, like it was something where she got hit in the head earlier in the season too, and she missed a couple games. So I would have thought with just like a nose, like broken nose,
she'll be back,
but she's been out for a while, so it's kind of weird. I don't really know what to think of the Q tag there on Hayes.
Yeah, with her, they've been ruling her out the night before, so it makes me think like she's either super close and they're going to go through warmups, or she's back. The problem is with Tiffany Hayes, like we saw last year, she rarely ever finished a game, even as like coming off the bench for the Aces. But she has played 1 complete game, and it was the opener. Both other games she got hurt in. Obviously, like she re-injured her face. But it does change a lot. Like I mean, it hurts Burton's ceiling. It hurts a lot of the other guard value for Golden State if you're going to play any of them. Like Leite would be unplayable. That's like the big news. And then starters, like what's the starting lineup going to look like for Dallas? Are they going to go with Nalissa? I think they're going to play Nalissa Smith in the starting lineup. How many minutes? I don't know. I do think Lee Uru is going to play either way. But like Golden State, like I think they start Mo Billings, but I think there's potential like me here starts.
Yeah, there's definitely some question marks here for Golden State, but I think overall, whether or not Hayes plays or not, like I think this is your best team to get to, and they're just gonna look better if Tiffany Hayes gets ruled out. Like I think that Burton's ceiling goes way up if Hayes gets ruled out. Her ball handling, like her assist percentage was Hayes off the court. It was like 32%, I believe. So yeah, I think the ceiling goes way up for Burton if Hayes is out. And then yeah, like Thornton, it's really been her and Burton kind of leading the way for usage here with Tiffany Hayes off the court. So her upside would go up as well. I do think that Mo Billings starts I think if she does start, she's probably your top overall value on the slate. Good rebounder on the season, averaging
a good fantasy point per minute player too.
For sure. Yeah, averaging 14.8 rebounds per 100 possession. So, if she gets a start, I think she looks great. But yeah, Carla, I think would be
Carla Leite.
Yeah, I think she would definitely start if Hayes gets rolled out.
Yep.
And then the fifth starter, I think could be
probably Talbot again.
Talbot, I think would be my best guess. Yeah. So 4,200. Like if she gets a start, she's not a great point per minute player. She'd be interesting. And then I'll mention it if Hayes is out. I mean, you could even take a shot in like an Ariel Powers for tournaments. Obviously, she barely played last game, but not a bad point per minute player. And if they only have 8, she would obviously have to play more than she did last game.
Yeah. Well, they did bring in Chen. They brought Chen back, and then they brought someone else in too, Chloe Bibby. So they brought.
They were technically
technically back. But yeah, I'm right there with you. Like the big news that's really the only news we're still waiting on is Tiffany Hayes active or out. Would change a lot. And then on the Dallas side, I think Paige Beckers is a elite contrarian spin up. Everyone is going to go Nafisa Collier and Caitlin Clark. That's where they're going to start a lot of their builds. They're going to start with those two. I think Paige Beckers has just a massive ceiling. Her upside, she doesn't even have to score. She's an efficient scorer, and that's what I think really elevates her ceiling is she's so good at getting the peripheral stats that if she shoots the ball 14 to 16 times, she's probably going to put up 45 to 50.
Yeah. No, I think she's a great pivot off chalk Caitlin Clark right now. Because if you look at ownership, Clark is, depending on what site you look at, 40.
Clark's 50%.
Yeah. Whereas Paige coming in around 10% right now in Draftkings.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And this game, not a ton of blowout risk, right? Where the Indiana game.
No, this game should be gas.
So yeah, I like the call there. I think she's a good tournament play. I think overall I do prefer her to Arike straight up, but Arike has obviously flashed that ceiling and is still playable as well. Do you think it's gonna? You said you think it's gonna be Nalissa Smith. That's the fifth starter here.
I do. I just think they're gonna go with her because Golden State is smaller.
Yeah,
they can play Misha Hines Allen as their center. I don't think she's gonna play. I hedged, split it straight down the middle between Uru and Nalissa. I don't think Nalissa plays more than 20 minutes, no matter what. I just don't think they really want to play her that much. I mean, they were shorthanded last game with only 3 bigs, and they only played her 10 minutes.
Yeah, she's definitely the minutes have been trending way down. I think that both the bigs though are interesting. I think that Lee Uri is definitely probably the better point per dollar play, regardless of who starts. But yeah, I think both her and Nalissa Smith are interesting tournament plays right now. Neither getting a ton of ownership. Not going to mess with anyone else though in Dallas. I think getting to Dejanay Carrington is probably a little bit too cute at that price.
Yeah, 9,400 seems a bit rich for Dejanay. I mean, even if she's going to play 32, 33 minutes, I mean, she's just at that price point. What you need from her, you're going to need a ceiling game, and her just her strict fantasy point per minute outlook just it doesn't comprehend and make sense to play her at that price point. Now, this game here, obviously spreads widened, started at 8.5 or 9. Now it was, last time I looked, it was 13.5. Obviously Fee's going to be very popular. They win. They've locked in the Commissioner Cup. That's the main thing that they're focusing on. So if the blowout starts to happen, could see Fee sit a little, but where are you at on this game?
Yeah, so Fee is up there at 13K. There obviously is some blowout risk in this game, but a lot of great value. I think if I had to pick between the two spend ups at the very top that are popular, and Fee and Caitlin Clark, I think I would give the edge to Fee. So either way, even if the game does get out of hand, she could put up a score that you could need. So I mean, we saw that was the last game,
Jesus
right?
Christ. Yeah, she had 50 at like before half.
Yeah. So the ceiling's obviously massive on her, but I think this is a good game for GPPs. There's not a ton of ownership on the opposite side for the aces. With Asia Wilson out, usage has been really good on the guards. So 2 games ago, you had Jackie Young with almost a 40% usage rate. Last game, she disappointed in the second half, which we're talking about a little bit before stream. Kind of cost me a takedown in high stakes. So I was pretty tilted about. Still a 26% usage rate. Chelsea Gray in that game had about 30% usage rate. But really, like all the offense right now from the aces with Asia out is coming from the 3 guards: Jackie Young, Chelsea Gray, and Jewel Lloyd. And there's not a ton of ownership going to any of them. So I think all 3 are pretty interesting GPP plays right now. In Young, Gray, and Lloyd. I think my preferred option probably would be Jackie Young, but I think all 3 definitely viable on this one.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like there's so much usage that is available when Asia Wilson is out. I mean, when you have one of the best players in the league go out and you have capable players like Jackie Young, obviously, like she's the one that steps up the most. I still think she's a little underpriced for her role without Asia Wilson. I think people are undervaluing it. Obviously, the game here against the Sparks when Asia got hurt, that was Jackie's just blow-up game. But this game against Dallas, I mean, 45, and she shot 7 of 16. She was getting to the free throw line at will. She's going to get you those peripheral stats. I feel the same way like about Chelsea Gray. First game without Asia, she only took 8 shots. Then this last game took 17. She's going to get you the straight up peripheral stats. And if she scores well, the ceiling is very high on her. And then Jewel Lloyd, obviously really disappointing for a majority of the season, but put together arguably her 2 best games these last 2, obviously with all the added usage. That helps. But I think all 3 are firmly in play. I think Chelsea Gray is probably still a bit underpriced with Asia out, and then Jewel Lloyd probably about right for tournaments. That's about the price range I want to be at for a Jewel Lloyd, and just hope you get the nut game.
Yeah, and then what do you think about Kia Stokes? I think she's kind of interesting. She's been very popular the last couple of slates. Right now, not projecting for a ton of ownership, so I think she's kind of interesting right now. Man,
if the only time you can play Kia Stokes is when Asia Wilson is out. That's my personal opinion. Obviously she's over 5K. When the slate she was 3,800. She was just the free square. You just needed to play her. Last game against Phoenix, 4,800, full 1K price increase. Still put up right about the same fantasy points. The deal with Kia Stokes, I always say, she is going to offer next to nothing in the offensive categories. She's not going to score very well. If this game against Dallas, 6 real life points, that is 7 is her season high. But if you get a couple buckets from her and she scores mid-20s, you're doing backflips. I think she's still a really good play. And like you said, no one is talking about her.
Yeah, and she doesn't need to do a ton to pay off the salary. Her rebounding numbers go way up with Asia Wilson on the court, 18 rebounds per 100 possessions. So, like you said, if she can hit a couple buckets, that might be all you need. So, I think what I talked about with Connecticut and Indiana, same thing in this game. I think we kind of talked about Caitlin Clark, Leah Boston, Mabry Stack. I think pick 2 of the guards and Kia Stokes run it back with Fee. That type of build is definitely something that I'm considering in tournaments.
Yep, I agree. And then on the Minnesota side, it's really hard with Minnesota. Obviously, Fee commands a ton of usage. Minutes have been awful on Courtney Williams of late. Really just can't recommend playing her. Kayla McBride seems pretty scoring dependent at 9K. Alana Smith, if the minutes are there, she can get there. Obviously, this big game here against Seattle, 37 minutes in the first game that Jessica Shepard was out and only put up 24 fantasy points. Big ceiling for a player like Alana Smith. I love her for tournaments. She's flashed just massive upside at times, but there's not really anyone besides fee on Minnesota that seems like a priority to me.
Yeah, there's not a ton of ownership going to anyone else really on Minnesota outside of fee. I think if I had to play someone else, I think it would be Alana Smith. Like the minutes have been really solid for her with Jessica Shepard out. She played 37 minutes there against Seattle, only 22 against the Sparks, but did have to go back to the locker room, and then that game blew out. So, like if you look at her minutes in the first half, like she didn't sit for a ton.
No.
So, I think 8,700 for her makes her playable in tournaments. I mean, obviously you can get like the pop off Caleb McBride or Courtney Williams game. The minutes have ticked down in Courtney Williams, but the ceiling's still there. Not going to really cross those two off, but they're playable. For the most part, I think I'm mainly looking to fee.
Yeah, I agree there. All right, last game of the night. Could it possibly be the late night hammer? We have the Sparks. Obviously, they shocked everyone. Kelsey Plum ruled out, which was weird. I'm glad we got it a day early at least. And not halfway through the slate. Odyssey Sims still out. She's away from the team. Should mean Shea Petty chalk. Don't know if it's good chalk or bad chalk. This 7 minutes, 7.25 fantasy points. She is not that good of a fantasy point per minute player. But at 4K, I think she's going to be good chalk just for what – I mean, she's going to have to play – big minutes for Seattle. Like they just don't have very many guard options.
Yeah, this one I've kind of gone back and forth on what I want to do with Petty. I do think right now though she is going a little bit overowned. They still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They still have 10 technically active players. And like she was just signed, they signed 2 players to a hardship contract today, but like she was just signed the other day. So it's not like she's been with the team for a long time too. And what you mentioned is like she's not a great point per minute player. Like I was looking back, I know she's getting up there in age. I was looking back at like her stats from previous years, and like 2023, 16 minutes per game, 5 points, 2 assists. 28 minutes per game in 2022, 9 points, 3 assists, 3 boards. Like it's like, she's not like going to be super productive. And there's the roles is kind of a little bit unknown. So if she starts, I think she's going to be extremely popular and definitely going to be a good value. But I don't think she's like an absolute must.
I agree. I'm really high on Dearica Hamby. Obviously, like peripheral stats have been really good for her. Started the year like solid, then she kind of dipped for a little bit. Obviously, like they went through a little bit of a lull, but with no Kelsey Plum, I think you're going to get to see a lot of last year's Dearica Hamby, and she was one of my favorite players to play last year. I think 10.7K is a solid price tag. I think she could play like 36, 37 minutes. And then like you're looking at the starters like Big Z, minutes are always a worry with her. And then like Rakia should play big minutes. Obviously pretty scoring dependent, but has shot the ball really well since returning. I mean, taking it like usage just took a huge upswing.
So Hamby, as you mentioned, is projecting pretty well. I think that ceiling does go up without Kelsey Plum. So like the upside on her, a little bit surprised that you're not getting much ownership to like Rakia Jackson or Stevens. Like right now, like only projecting for like 10% or so. The price has come down a little bit on Rakia Jackson, and the minutes have ticked up like 35, 33, 36 minutes over the last couple games. So I think I have a little bit more interest in her than her current ownership. Stevens, obviously the Mets have been a little bit up and down, but if you're like, I don't know, if you're not looking great going into the late game and you have Hamby, maybe you like eat some salary, go Stevens, give yourself a chance. I don't know. I think that's, viable. But outside of the 3 spend ups and Petty,
tough,
not a ton that I love. Like, could you play Barker over chalk Petty? I think like you could in a large field tournament. Cannon is a pretty good point per minute player. Minutes a little bit more in question just because the front court obviously is still healthy. I don't really have a ton else to add. Is there any of these like other cheapies that you're interested on the Sparks side or no?
No, like King is just such a terrible fantasy point per minute player. Like she played a lot of the minutes that Barker sat last game, and then she played in the blowout. Like I mean, I think if you play King, you're hoping for like 10 fantasy points. And at that point, like I would just rather save $500 and play like a Lee Uru or who has potential to play more minutes and is a better fantasy point per minute player. Like there's just, I think for me, like the sparks, it's really just like the big three, Hamby, Stevens, Rakia, and then maybe playing like Petty, or if you're looking if you're looking rough going into this late game and you have like Hamby, Petty, maybe you go Big Z and Barker. Maybe you swap off and get some leverage there. Just as I mean, you got to throw Hail Marys, guys. If you're down, you can't just eat the chalk and hope it works out.
Yeah, no, I think that 2v2 almost works out perfectly.
Yeah, I actually think it fits like a glove. So. On Seattle, like where are you at on Seattle? Obviously, like I think the pricing is really solid. Like everyone sub 9K, like NECA, super disappointing last game, but massive ceiling. She's flashed it multiple games this year. I think this is a fantastic matchup for her. Diggins, Gabby's been really consistent. Ezzy's starting to come along. I really like all like their big four, and then I don't know if I can really get to Wheeler, but like I think mostly just the big four.
Yeah, I think when Seattle's fully healthy, I think that basically I just have like interest in the main four with Diggins, NECA, Gabby, and Ezzy. Those are the four kind of dominating the usage. I think all four are playable here. No one's really getting insane ownership. I don't really have any like super strong takes here on these four. I think they're again in a really good matchup here. So any of those four I think are fine. Wheeler, I think maybe I have a little bit more interest than you. When was it? So it was against Phoenix where she got in foul trouble, only played 23 minutes.
Minutes have been good.
Yeah, against Minnesota played 31 and then 27 minutes there against Golden State. So I think she's kind of an interesting contrarian option there. I don't think I would get to the value though on Seattle with the way that they're running their rotations. I think there's just better value elsewhere. But yeah, I think any of the starters you can make an argument for here with no one really standing out more than the others.
Yeah. All right, we'll answer a few questions here. Obviously, appreciate DK hopping on. Huge slate as always. Wanted to go through all of it for anybody that doesn't just want to listen to my opinion. I mean, DK's a man. I had to bring him out of retirement. How's the NBA playoffs been treating you?
Yeah, NBA playoffs have been pretty good. I've volume wise, I haven't been playing a ton for DFS or props really. Last few weeks, I've been focusing more on WNBA, but overall, NBA playoffs have been pretty solid for me.
Yeah, this year I just did not have any time for NBA. I like my whole year. I've got to iron my shit out. All right, let's see here. This was an early question. Sykes or Hamby, last one in.
Well, I think definitely the more optimal play is Hamby. I think that Brittany Sykes is, viable as a way to get different on the slate. So kind of depend on what the rest of your lineup looks like. I think if you have like all chalk, then I'm okay going to Sykes. If you have, a contrarian piece or two already, then I'm okay just going to Hamby.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like Hamby more currently, but I have no issues. Like if you're playing super chalk, Brittany Sykes will definitely be lower owned. We got some tonight's the night. Let's get some wins. See, will take me home. All right. Good luck.
Hey, I do have an over on her points at 9.5, so I'm hoping she has a decent game. But
well, hey, if she comes out and the first couple go in, you're locked in because she's just going to keep shooting it. Let's see here. Got a whole bunch of people. Look at all these guys saying DK's the GOAT. DK's the GOAT. DK, where you been on your YouTube channel? All right, they're calling you out.
Yeah. I'll be back for, I don't know if it'll be Summer League or NFL. I'll be back, but
one of these days.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, DK's busy, guys. I mean, you gotta let the guy live. All right, let's see here. Yep, DK and Cody, rock on. All right. Liu for value. I think she's a solid value option. I mean, she's a flat min. I think she's going to play 15-ish minutes at least. Maybe the potential to play a little bit more, especially if she starts. What are your thoughts on Lee?
I like her a lot as a contrarian value right now. I think that she's a good pivot off of Chalk Petty for a little bit more. And the reason is that Lee is just like she's not. I don't think she's a great real life player, but she's a good point per minute player. So like if she can find her way into like 20 minutes, like she could easily break the slate at the min price. So yeah, not a lot of ownership. I really like her as a contrarian play.
Who we just mentioned was Lee Uru.
Yep.
So she is the flat min. Let's see here. Van Lith value. Yep, she's solid. We mentioned her for Chicago. Uru is not looking like chalk, so definitely don't just fade Uru just because like you think she's chalk. The chalk value play is Shea Petty currently.
I will say though, if she starts, I expect her ownership to jump for sure. But like right now, no. Like on Draftkings at least, like she's projecting for like 10% or so. So
yeah, nothing crazy. What are we doing with the Sparks?
Yeah, I think what you do with the Sparks kind of depends on how the early games go for you, right? Like I think if you're looking really good going into the late game, then you just probably go with like Wnba or Petty, assuming she starts. But yeah, if you need to make up some ground, we mentioned Stevens, Jackson, even Barker as a viable pivot. So I think what you do with the Sparks kind of depends on what happens with the earlier games.
Yeah, how your early games look. Yeah, Hayes needs to sit down. I'm kind of hoping she sits would be nice. How popular is Mo Billings? Trending at about 50% right now. Maybe gets a little bit of steam when they announce that she's starting. Maybe gets close to 60-65%. I think she's a great play though. I really think if she's 60%, I'm gonna try and be overweight on that. She is a good player, guys. Like I don't want to undersell Mo Billings. Anytime she's gotten run, she can go.
Yeah, she is by far the value play I feel the best about right now.
Yeah,
on this slate, assuming she starts. Even if she comes to the bench, I still think she's playable, but I'm pretty sure she'll start with just the lack of bigs.
Yeah. Let's see here. No lines out for Billings props. Yeah, that's just malpractice.
I think I saw like 1 points prop up on like FanDuel, but they had it was like an insane juice. I think. Yeah, they have. At least what I'm looking at my odds screen, 9.5 points, -192 for the over, nothing on the under. So I was like, what?
Let's see here. Let's see. Talbot or Cannon probably has to just be Talbot for me, assuming that she starts.
Yeah, I just think the minutes ceiling is a lot higher on her. Definitely has a chance to start. Minutes go up even if Tiffany Hayes gets rolled out too. So yeah, I think the ceiling is, even though she's not a great point per minute player, I just think that the ceiling's higher on her in the slate.
Yeah. Like they're relatively close fantasy point per minute wise. So obviously I'm just going to lean into the Talbot way, just especially if she's starting, she's got more safety per minutes. Single entry last piece, Page or Wnba?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Wnba, I think projects a little bit better point per dollar, getting a lot more ownership. I think me and Cody both agree. We like the Dallas guards, especially Page in tournaments. So yeah, I like her a lot as contrarian play. I would say kind of depends on what the rest of your lineup looks like.
Yeah, I'm super high on Paige Beckers tonight. Naz Hillman, where do you stand with Naz? I'm kind of, I think she's just overpriced.
Yeah, I think on a smaller slate, I might have some interest in her. The minutes have been pretty solid for the most part. She's playing mid-20s. Price is reasonable. But
she has run good.
Yeah, she has run pretty good. So I think there's probably better point per dollar plays on the slate, and yeah, it might be a little bit too cute on this one.
I mean, Mo Billings for $1,000 less. I'm in. I'm in there. Let's see here. We'll answer a few more questions and we'll get out of here. Haley Van Lith and Thornton or Canada and Billings. I'm going to go 2.
Yeah, the second one is way safer. I think that Van Lith is playable in tournaments, obviously, but high risk, high reward play. Canada, pretty secure role, and Mo Billings, obviously, we think we're expecting to start. So
yeah. Yeah, so here's one: Billings or Talbot point per dollar. Billings,
Yep.
just much better fantasy point per minute.
Mm-hmm.
Sabrina or Paige, leaning Paige. I also lean Paige Beckers there.
Yeah. I think it's a little bit tougher to get to Sabrina and Brianna Stewart on this slate with John Quell back. So they have a pretty balanced attack when fully healthy. New York.
Yeah. All right, here's somebody saying you got to bring the.
I'll definitely be doing. I'm definitely doing content for Summer League for sure. Whether or not I do like YouTube videos every day, don't know. It just depends on how much time. But
and I mean, YouTube videos are almost like useless for Summer League. Like,
it's a lot of just starting lineups.
Yeah, you got to know the starters. All right, let's see here. We'll try and grab a couple more. Uru still good off the bench. Yeah, I don't think it really matters. They only have 3 bigs. I think she's going to play either way.
Yep. Again, if she comes off the bench, the minutes are definitely a little bit more in question. Obviously, we haven't seen a ton from her, but good point per minute. So, like again, if she can find her way into 15 to 20 minutes, the ceiling I think is pretty high.
Yep. They say Hayes is out there warming up.
Okay.
Not ideal.
Yeah, so I would say she's probably going to play then if that's the case. I couldn't find anything on Twitter earlier. I still don't see anything on Twitter, but I think if she is warming up, then pretty good sign that she's going to play. Yeah.
All right, let's see here. I think that's just about all of them. It does hurt Burton a little if Hayes plays for sure.
Would you have interest in Hayes if she starts?
I do a little bit.
Yeah. Like she was, when healthy, she was like leading this team in usage. You saw it in the preseason. She was like leading the team in shot attempts.
Yep.
So if she's in there, she's starting and there's no restrictions, then I'm going to have some interest in her too.
Yep. I agree. News just dropped. New York Liberty starting lineup. No Kennedy Burke starting. It is Baby Sabali.
Wow.
They are starting extremely big. They're starting Stewie at the 3, Baby Sabali at the 4, John Quell at the 5.
Huh. Well, my initial thoughts are go hammer Brianna Stewart under rebounds if Sabali's starting alongside John Quell Jones.
Yeah. He's going to eat that. Sabali 6,900 though. Okay.
Yeah.
I still think she can get there, but 6,900 is steep.
She's a good point per minute player, so I do think she's in play. I don't have a ton of confidence with her minutes playing alongside Stewart and Jones. Obviously she played 31 last game, but that was without Jones. So interesting to see what the ownership is on her. I don't think it's going to be super high, but I'm not going to go out of my way to play her. But I do think she's at least playable now that she's starting.
Yep, I agree. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. DK, let them know where they can find you. Most of them already know, though.
Yeah. Obviously, have been uploading much to YouTube recently. We'll be back soon, though. Again, whether it be Summer League or NFL. And then Twitter is where I'm active the most. Just DK__DFS. Appreciate it.
Calling out the trolls. Chasing the trolls off Twitter.
Yep.
One troll at a time. All right, I appreciate you hopping on, man. It was a blast. Always fun catching up with you. Good luck, everybody. Hope to see someone ship the big 25K. Me and DK have already decided we're just going to split the 50K and the 333, and we're going to call it a day. But good luck, everybody. We'll see you guys in the next one.